Yeah.
Okay, no worries. Are we all set? Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning.
Hi. Hey, Tina. My name is Daria Crater, and it's lovely to be on here today. Thank you so much, Anna and team, for inviting me. I'm really excited to talk to you all real quick. Today, we're going to dive into profit first for real estate agents. This is kind of like a 101 level, so very basic, but hopefully you'll take away some nuggets. I hope you have like a pen and paper to write down some of the stuff we're going to talk about today. And if you have some numbers in front of you, you can also work out some of your numbers. So real quick, if you've heard of Profit First, just give me a thumbs up or a little, you can raise your hand in Zoom. Let me know. Oh, great, great. So we have some people who've heard of it. Fantastic. So again, I'm Daria. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've been married for about 19 years this summer, which is pretty amazing. We have two teenagers. We're in the thick of it. Prayers are appreciated. We have two puppies, Maverick and Mizuno, and they just, this is my complete family. So super excited about them. I'm originally from northern New Jersey. So every once in a while, you might hear my accent slip out. I do live in the Raleigh area now, up in Wake Forest. I've been in Wake Forest for about 8 years now. We love it up there. It is a small little town, but close to everything as well. I started out as a teacher out of college. I taught for about 13 years. And when our second child was born, my daughter, I slipped out of teaching and I wanted to spend more time with the kids and I got into real estate. I started as an admin for some top producers in my neighborhood and quickly got into getting my license within a year. From there, I started helping agents grow teams. I've stepped into sales positions. I was in production, and then I was with Keller Williams, and I stepped into leadership. My heart was really drawn into helping other people hit their goals and reach their dreams, and really kind of be that little push that they needed to get there. And I've been there ever since. So currently, I am the director of operations on the call group. We are located out of Cary. We're with EXP, and we are the #1 producing team in the area. We're in the top 25 in the nation. We have about 50 agents, and we're close to being on track for 1,000 transactions this year. So it's fantastic. We have a lot of fun. We've got a lot of amazing people that I get to work with every day. So personally, I love baseball. Go Yankees. I actually just went to a friend's baseball game last night because I was like, hey, is your son playing? I'm missing the field. And she's like, yeah, come on over. So we were sitting under a tree in 90-degree weather, watching some good old baseball. I have a love for English roses. I have about 25 roses in my garden. My husband and I love shark fishing. It's something that we do together. We're very passionate about that. And I've caught the biggest shark in the family, about 250 pounds. And I know Anna's like, it's fun.
My husband loves shark fishing. I can't wait to be like, we talked about shark fishing on the call this morning.
Oh, yes. So our favorite place to go is down in Isla Morada, and then we'll hop into the Straits of Florida. But we do catch some off of Carolina Beach. So we caught some last weekend. And then I love to spend my time at the beach. If I could be there, I'm in my happy place. We do have a beach place down at Carolina Beach, and we try to get there as often as possible. So just a little bit about me there. All right, so Profit First was developed by this guy, Mike, and he had built and sold his companies. As his revenue increased, so did his spending. So he was leading with expenses instead of profit. He lost all of his money. He lost everything. And he just kind of thought there must be a better way for business owners to take control of their money, maybe flip their mindset, and just focus more on the profit rather than the expenses running and leading the business. So now his goal is to help entrepreneurs eradicate that entrepreneurial poverty where you're kind of leading with expenses and then paying yourself last and fulfilling your bucket last. So it's kind of like a flip in the mindset. So really excited to get into this. Mike's goal was to serve entrepreneurs, small businesses, large businesses. A lot of people who are self-employed have taken this methodology into account. He wanted to simplify the process to make profit and to help you manage your money. And then he wanted entrepreneurs to understand that profit is more of a habit. It's a behavioral habit. And you have to be intentional about that. You have to want to see the profit first and then take the expenses out. And we'll talk about some of the different ways he does that. So real quick in the chat, How is your approach to profit? Choose an emoji that best represents how you feel at the moment about how you handle your money in your business for profit. Are you like, yes, I'm on it. Like I have profit first in place. Are you like, I don't even know what we're talking about. I'm just here for the day. Or are you like, I'm really sad and I don't know. I lead by expenses only and no judgment. So just drop it in the chat. We'd love to see where you guys are at. Heart, I see a heart. I gotta open up the chat there. Okay, yep. Oh, see, sad, Miguel. Oh, I'm not sure. That's okay. We're gonna help you out here. So let's dive in. Good habits is what you, especially if you're a new agent, you're in the perfect spot. In the first couple of years, you're running your business, you're really building it out. You're in the sweet spot because you can develop your good habits now. And when you develop your good habits now, they will show up later in your business. It will make your life easier. I started profit first, running our finances like personally and business wise. Probably 5 or 6 years ago. At first, my husband thought I was crazy, and now he loves it because he sees the money that accumulates there. So you want to keep your goals set, kind of keep them in sight. Do you review your goals daily, weekly, monthly, or do you kind of just set and forget? Like you start that first year, you set out all your goals, you have it somewhere on a paper that you probably couldn't find right now. But if that's you, that's okay. But I would encourage you to look at your goals more frequently, track your habits, and let's kind of see how you can stay focused. And this is a question that I always tell agents to filter with. This was the game changer for me. If I make this decision either on a purchase, an expense, something that I want to do, does this take me closer to my goal or further from my goal? Does it help me get there or does it help me get away from there? If it does not take me closer to my goal, I really have to sit back and evaluate. Is this going to be worth it? Should I make this decision? Do we need to find another option? For me, super easy. If it doesn't take me closer to my goal, it's a no. For my husband, it is a little different story. So just to review some good habits versus bad habits. Setting aside monthly money for savings. Maybe you're setting aside monthly money towards an investment property. Reviewing your profit and loss monthly. How many of you have a profit and loss? Just hands up if you've got one, if you do one. Even if you do once a year. Anybody once a year? Okay. Anybody do it quarterly? Okay, great. Anybody do it monthly? All right, couple of you. Great, great. If you're not running on a profit and loss statement, you really should just to see where your money is going. It will really help open up your eyes to where your money has been going. A couple of more good habits there, but then some bad habits, spending before your commission comes in. I know some agents are, have that little habit there. Not putting money aside for taxes, that's another one. Agents don't account that you're now self-employed. You have to pocket some money away for your taxes. Not checking your balances of your accounts, and then maybe saying yes to things that take you away from your goals. All right, so profit first is a behavioral cash management system. The old way of thinking is really called bank balancing accounting. This is the older way of thinking where we take our income, then we subtract our cost of sales, and then we subtract our expenses, and what is left is the profit. And every month that would be different, right? Because your expenses might be higher, lower, your cost of sales higher, lower, etc. So maybe some months you make 5,000 and some months you make 15,000. So it's not really even out to what you're bringing into your own accounts for your profit from your business. So with Profit First, they want you to flip the script. They want you to bring in all your income and you want to take away your profit. So you determine, what am I going to allocate every month or every check or however often you're going to do your accounting to my profit. And you're going to take that out first. Then you're going to take out your cost of sales. And then you have what's left for your expenses. And when you lead with this, then you realize, okay, I can either spend $100 to, boost this listing, or I can spend $1,000 to boost this listing, because whatever you have left is what you're going to spend, right? So you want to see what you have left to allocate to your expenses. You don't want to leave that profit to be last. You want to lead with profit and then take away your expenses there. Does that make sense to anyone? Yeah, Okay, the baby likes it. Cost of sales. You might be like, I don't know what cost of sales is. I don't know if I have any of them. Here's how you would determine your cost of sales. This is what it takes to run your business. These are some of the expenses you would have to run your business. Examples are open house supplies, your signs, maybe you bring beverages, snacks, etc. Any concessions that you would pay, right, to a seller outside of the transaction, to a vendor, etc. Any outbound referrals that are paid. If you're working a referral and you have to pay that agent, that's a cost of the sale. You wouldn't have had that without that cost of sale. And then any marketing, client gifts, events, etc. These are a little bit different than your expenses. These have to happen to have the sale happen, okay? All right, so getting started, where do you start with profit first? First, you need to determine your why. If you know me, if you've been around me long enough, you know that the why is what fuels everything for your life, right? You need to know where you're going. You need to know what your direction is. If you don't know where you're going to end up. So you need to know what your why is. Why are you working? Why are you pushing so hard for this business? Is it for you, for your family, for travels, for investments, etc.? If you need to know how much money you need to fund your why. Then you need to determine the number of sales or your gross commission income needed for your income and your profit goal. You need to determine your cost of sales and your business activities. And then last, you're going to open up a minimum of 4 bank accounts. I know that sounds crazy, but we'll go through it. But you want 4 bank accounts to run your profit first. Your why. If you don't know this, again, I invite you to come talk to me, DM me. I'll put my number in the chat. I would love to help you discover your why. I have some people here from my team. They know I'm a big proponent of knowing your why. All right, tax calculation for your GCI. If you've got some pen and paper, let's start working this out here. Number one, you're going to determine your current tax rate percentage. Some may be at 15, some may be at 20, some may be at 30. I always go for 30 because I want to take out the most and have it socked away. I don't want to have to dip into other accounts to pay my taxes at the end of the year or quarterly, however you pay them. Subtract your current tax rate percentage from 100%. So if I'm taking 30% for my tax account, 100 minus 30 is 70%. Divide your profit total goal by the percentage in step 2. So my profit, if I wanted to earn $100,000, I'm going to divide that by 70%. This is what you get there, that answer is going to be the GCI you need to earn to cover your goals, right? Because we have to take out some money for expenses, taxes, etc. Okay, so if I want to take home 100,000, I really need to make almost 145,000. Okay, is everyone with me there? Great. Now let's take that and see how many transactions I have to do. You're going to determine your average commission rate. I just use 5,000 as an example to keep the numbers easy. Then you're going to divide your average commission rate into your total income goal. That was the one that we just talked about on the screen previously. So 142K divided by 5K. And that's going to tell me about how many homes I need to sell to get to that goal. So I need to sell about 29 homes this year on average. Does that sound about right for your market? I'm not sure where everybody's from, so you might have different numbers there. All right, let's get into the bank accounts here. So I know you're thinking, wow, minimum 4, that's a lot. Actually, some people who run profit first have 5, 6, 7, 8 bank accounts. I think 4 is the minimum that you can start with. You want to find a bank that has high yield savings rates and that is comfortable and doesn't charge a fee if you have a $0 balance. There are some out there. You can go online and just Google that, and you'll find some that are online banking. You'll find some local banking. I use First Citizens up in Raleigh, so something just local. I have some of my accounts for my profit first in the different bank than where I have like my personal money with my family, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But the first account that you're going to want to open is an income account. Any money that you make from your business is going to filter into this account. This is kind of like a collection bucket, if you will. You're going to take all your money from your commission checks, referral money. If you have other little income producing activities, this is where all your money will go, and you're going to pay yourself from this account. Then you're going to open up an account for profit. From your income account, you're going to allocate a certain percentage each month to your profit, or if you're paying per commission check every 2 weeks, etc., however often you're running your money. Once you determine how much you'll be putting away, you'll move it there every month. And this can be a percentage, and it's going to be different for everybody. If you're just starting out, I would suggest start at like 1 to 2% of what you have in your income account and move that over to your profit account. Some business owners can get up to 5 to 6%, and that's really good. And some people are at 10%. So it really depends on how much money you have coming in and what your other buckets will look like. From your profit account, this would be the account that you would pay yourself either an annual or quarterly dividend. Some people like annual. I like quarterly because it gives me that like little boost of like, I've worked hard. Here's my reward. Now I get to go spend that money. We call this in our family the fun account, right? If the kids want to go do something, I'm like, yeah, let me just get some money out of that account. That's where I say to my husband, let's take it from there and use it for this. So when we go on vacation, you know, I heard someone say like we go on vacation and they can do whatever they want, things like that. Like that's where that money comes from. We really try to give them great experiences and it comes from that account. The second account you're going to set up, sorry, third account you're going to set up is your taxes. Now this one I keep at a different bank. And I keep it at a different bank because I want this money to be really hard to get my hands on. I don't have a debit card associated with this account. I don't have checks associated with this account. If I want this money, I physically have to go to the bank, do a little withdrawal slip, and hand it to the cashier because this money should be hard to get. You don't want to touch this money, but just send it to the government when you need your taxes, right? You don't want to be short. You don't want to have to take it from somewhere else. You don't want that temptation. So I keep my tax account in a separate bank. My husband is not a fan of it because, like I said, he likes to spend, spend, spend. But when he sees that, when we have to pay our taxes, he's like, honey, I'm so thankful that you did that. He's like, I would have spent all that money. I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, that's why purposely it's over there. Just until probably this spring, we just put his name on the account. Like, he couldn't literally even touch the money. So, and then the fourth account you'll want to set up is your operating expense account. And this is where you would only transfer the money that you need to pay your expenses. This account will usually have a $0 balance, right? So if you have an expense come in for $100, you're going to put $100 in there and you're going to pay it out of that account. I know that might sound trivial at first, but really it's how you're controlling how you're spending the money. Remember, we're leading with profit first. We're protecting that money first and then seeing what is left over for the expenses. So some people will say like pay money into this expense account twice a month. Mike recommends the 10th and the 25th of the month to move money into this account because most bills are due in the middle or the end or beginning of the month. We usually just deposit money into this account once per month, just because that's how we run some of our expenses here. But this is why you'll want a bank that is okay with a $0 balance because most of the time this has a $0 balance and they're okay with that. So any questions on these four starter accounts? No? Okay, all good. Your biggest bill, if you haven't found out by now, is going to be your income tax bill. Most agents are not prepared for this bill. Most agents forget about this, especially if you're first or second year in the business. You probably came from a W-2 employment where they held taxes for you. And that first year you get that tax bill and you're like, I'm supposed to pay that. Where's all the money? Where did all this money go? Where's my account to do this? So I highly recommend that you connect with a CPA, with a tax professional, a bookkeeper, and let them help you set up quarterly taxes. This way you're paying each quarter. It's a smaller amount. You have that tax account set up. It's at a separate bank. You can't touch it. You go there, get the money, and then write the check to the government. All right, and then really quick at the end, he talks about some habits for wealth building. Live from a personal budget, right? Don't let you dictate your money. You make your money work for you. You leverage it there. Don't go, wild and crazy and just spend all the money and then, you're back kind of like going up and down with that money game. Avoid debt at all costs if you can. Do not finance your personal lifestyle. Another mindset shift is get things to work, get your money to work for you. Get an investment property if you can. Use that money to make money for you. That's one of my driving forces. How can I use my money to make money for me? Save 3 to 6 months for an emergency fund to cover business and personal expenses. If you're not sure what it would cost per month to fund your life and your business, you probably need to figure that out also. What needs to be in your reserves in case you don't have a commission that comes in for a month, 2 months, 3 months, etc. If you were to get sick, if you were to get into an accident, make sure you have enough money to cover those couple of months until you're back on your feet. If you don't have life insurance, you might want to consider purchasing life insurance, working on purchasing a home, owning it free and clear. That's something that Mike says. I don't know, I like to take my money out and then repurchase another investment property. So I'm kind of iffy on that one. Determine your 5 wealth builders. These are people who help you make your wealth, right? Who can help you? These are people that maybe refer you all the time. These are people that can guide you into how to use your money smart, to make money for you. Keep track of your monthly goals versus your actuals. Visit your net worth monthly. This is another activity that was so eye-opening. We started tracking our monthly expenses and assets on such a large scale, like everything, houses, cars, boats, whatever we had, we put in this spreadsheet and we started tracking our expenses and we looked at our net worth every month and we would see how it would go up and down, up and down, up and down. But when you see it that finite and you have big goals in reach and in your, your vision and your 5-year plan, it's really easy then to get clear on those decisions of should I spend the money on this or should I not? Is it going to bring the net worth up or down? Is it closer to my goal or not? So that was super eye-opening for us. If you can, build your financial team, a CPA, a bookkeeper, a financial planner, have an attorney in your pocket, just someone that you can go to for advice, for questions, things like that. Put your money away for your taxes every month or every commission check. Pay them quarterly if you can. Never, ever, 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 ever borrow from your tax account. Again, set it up at a different bank, no bank card, no debit card, no checks. If you haven't set up an LLC for your business, I highly suggest that you do that. In North Carolina, you have to be a full broker to do this. You have to have a firm license, but then you can set up your LLC and operate through your LLC. The advantage of this is then you can run your LLC and have it taxed as an S Corp. And what you can do then is pay less taxes, which is music to everyone's ears. And then lastly, pay yourself a salary from that income account. You can branch off and have an owner's compensation account. Some people will leave everything in the income account and divvy out the funds to those other bank accounts. And then some real estate agents will open up the owner compensation account. If you do that, set a salary for yourself and pay yourself that salary. You have to take care of yourself. You have to fill your bucket. You would never be able to have an employee and not pay them, right? They wouldn't work. They wouldn't work for you. So think of yourself as your first employee. You have to pay yourself, and then you get to bonus yourself quarterly or annually from your profit account. So that's all I've got today on Profit First. I'd love to answer questions or hear any ahas, share a takeaway from today. Was this helpful? Is this new to you? Would love to hear from you guys.
Yeah, I'll just start by telling y'all that I used to literally I would cover my eyes and open my bank accounts and especially when I started the team because I knew I was going to be spending, I knew it was going to be a pay cut, so I was very comfortable with money going out, but the return was I would literally cover my eyes. If you're on this call and you're not working with and you're not good at self-disciplining to go in and look at things, I have an amazing bookkeeper reference. They service all over the place. They're called Q Pros. Kelsey runs my P&L for me every month. They literally hunt me down multiple times a year and say, "Hey, let's do some tax planning. Let's have some conversations." And they know I avoid them for at least 2 emails, and then they know on the third one that they'll get me. So if you feel that way, just very honestly, I don't think you're weird. I'm the same way. And I used to be it was such a painful way to live. I can tell you, on the other side of it, It's so much
Mhm.
better. I don't have tax surprises anymore. I know where we are. I know what we can spend. But I did have to get help because this is not in my wheelhouse. And so like I have, and Megan, I'll share with you, I'll put Kelsey's information in here. Just go get help on some of the maintenance. I pay literally to run all my payroll, which I have, three, four, five staff members, myself. They pay our vendors for us. Could you imagine how nice it'd be not to have to sit there and worry about, have I paid that photographer? Have I paid for those measurements? Like literally our vendors know, they just email Kelsey and Kelsey pays them. And I'm talking about, a $700-800 cost a month to our business. Like that's the best money that I spend. So
Mhm.
if that's something where you just are like, I hate this and I'm bad at this, you're never going to probably get that much better at it. So just go find some people to help you with it. And I'm like case number one. Like, look at me, because I literally would cover my mouth or my face before I would look at my bank accounts.
I agree. We used to be the same way. Like we would open it up. I'd be like, can I hit pay? Like, can I hit send for the money? I'm like, oh, hope it goes through.
I was
Um,
like calculating payroll one time early on, and I was like, can I pay everyone? I don't know. I don't want to look. I
it
was
is
bad, y'all. I was real bad.
It's painful at first because it's such a shift in your mindset and it's really you're kind of like out of your comfort zone. So you're a little bit like, "Oh, is this going to work? I don't know." But like Anna said, once you get on the other side of it, it's so much better. And I promise you, you'll be able to sleep at night. Like you won't have the worries about bills, expenses, etc. And you'll have money in your account, right? And you start small. Start that profit with 1 or 2% per commission check and just go from there.
Dear, what was one of the things? Yeah, Tina. See, Tina said I was the same. Read for the first
Yeah,
year.
I was gonna say
Five.
I remember having to owe the government 18,000 one year and 30,000 the next. And then Kevin took all the finances away from me.
Yeah. I remember the first
So
time I
it's
got that
hard.
tax bill, like after being like a solo agent. So not as many expenses, right? So like solo agent, and like not in a leadership role for a team. And I just remember like getting that tax bill and I was like, I'm sorry, what is this? Like, there's no
Uh-huh.
way this is possible. And the reality of it is like it really wasn't, right? I'd really spent a lot more on my business over the course of that year. I just didn't keep up with it. So in all fairness, I did not owe the government $60,000, but that's what on paper all I could produce. I'm just being very like vulnerable and transparent here. And I will never forget. I literally got off the call with that accountant that I was working with at the time, and I literally Googled. I was like, bookkeepers. I was like, this is it. I can't afford to do this again because and now, our tax liabilities are so much less because we're just very cognizant of like what are we spending and putting them into the right cost centers, like in our books, like knowing what it does cost to run a listing, knowing what it costs to even like literally sit here and host a mastermind with you guys. Like knowing the cost of doing everything is crucial, and I'm telling you, if I can do it, anyone can do it because I'm an idiot sandwich.
So Anna, I'll share something really quick. I don't know if you guys can see me. One of the like the big eye openers for me is when I got my director of operations because I was really bad at tracking expenses. And um, when we were up at the North Carolina, the Pinehurst Empowered, we went out afterward and we were sitting in the coffee shop with like Tina, and she like looked me dead in the face and she's like, "So like, what's your over under per agent?" And I was just like white face, like I have no idea. And then I looked at Erica, my director of operations, and she was like, blah, 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 blah. She knew everything. And that was just like a moment for me when I was like, I'm running a business, but I'm not really doing it. They're doing it, which I have full trust in her, but it just really brought full circle to me. Like, how do you run a business and not know your own numbers? Like, you have to dive into that, or what are you really doing at the end of the day? So it was very eye opening for sure.
And I think a little mindset shift for me is like I genuinely I love sponsoring things in the community. Like I love spending money on being members at the chamber, sponsoring the golf tournament, giving to sponsoring Brantley's Buddies, which is a tournament for a friend of ours, like child that has cystic fibrosis. Like I love like putting my money back in the community. But the problem is like until I had these systems, I couldn't do it comfortably. So your why doesn't have to come from a place of like, I want to have all this money in my bank account, because if you're like me, that probably doesn't drive you. But knowing that I can comfortably write those checks and tell people, yes, I want to, I had a gal that does this amazing women's ministry that we sold her house, and I wanted to take some of the proceeds of her commission and I wanted to donate it back to her organization. And knowing what I can and can't do, that's my why. So if you're sitting here, this doesn't, sometimes the phrase profit first doesn't resonate with me because I don't really care about the money. I know I should. I know I'm sure my husband wants to like hit me listing across the wall being like, you should, but like I don't care about having all that money for myself. So like if your why looks a little different, just know it still applies. And I think that's why it took me so long to get started, because I didn't care about the money. So I was very quick to let it roll. But now I know that I can give much more intentionally and I can be more significant because I am using more healthy practices with cash flow.
Yeah, that makes sense. Like our why became a pain point around finances, like a family situation. So my husband and I were like, we don't want our kids in this situation, nor do we want to be in this situation. And once we became very clear on that, the decisions of how to spend the money and where to put it was super easy, like really easy. So I think once you identify that, and it could be anything, your why can be anything. It's specific to you. It doesn't matter what anyone else thinks about it. Like it's your why, but that's what's going to help you kind of get into this and make it so much easier when you start watching where your money goes.
Any other questions or things we can answer before we hop off this call? All right. Next Wednesday is July 3rd. We're going to live stream some future plans, but we won't be on here for a full chunk of time because I feel like next week is just a national holiday. I can't believe the emails I've gotten from some of our like fellow follow boss like Movoto, like they're all like, oh, we're out next week, like we won't be in the office. So I think it's just like a corporate holiday week for a lot of people.
Yes.
So wild to me. I'm like, oh, okay, the whole week, huh? So anyways, enjoy the holiday next week. We'll be back on. We've got some amazing people lined up. Jessica, who's one of Daria's counterparts as well, will be on in the next couple weeks. We have Michelle Sayward, who's one of our upline partners from Michigan, who's going to hop on with us in the upcoming weeks. We really tried to pack the summer with a lot of good information for you guys since you are spending a little bit of extra time being on these calls. So go make it a great week. And we're always here. So let us know what you need from us and we'll get this recording posted in the next couple hours, maybe the next day or so. I am at the beach and I am tech services for Agents Empowered. So we'll see.
Well, Anna, thank you so much for having me. Everybody, it was a pleasure this morning. Have a great week.
You did amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hey guys.
Bye, friends. Go crush it.
Thanks.